Greetings, everyone. If you're watching this live, happy Saturday. I decided to take a little bit of my time out on my Saturday while I'm getting ready for my Kickstarter. I'm still pushing along promoting that. That's part of what this is. But one of the things I have to do is I had an early bird reward tier on my Kickstarter where you can find it youngandthedead.com. If you just click on that, you can go to my Kickstarter right now. It is currently funding if you're watching this live or if you're watching this within a couple weeks of it airing, I think. But I'm doing sketch cards as one of those tiers. That tier has since sold out, so it's not available anymore. But I've got to make these cards, so I want to see how many of them I can get done in like about 90 minutes. Is usually about how long I go live for. But having said that, one thing I kind of skipped the line a little bit. So I mean, it's not really. When I say how many can I do in 90 minutes, it's not start to finish, because one of the problems I had last time when I was doing some sketch cards and some sketches is that because when I pencil, I draw pretty light. The camera wasn't picking it up. So this time I've roughly sketched out everything. So we're just gonna see how many sketch cards we can ink and add color to in that time frame. So let's switch your camera over and kind of get started. Once again, Kickstarter for Young and the Dead is currently funding. If you're not familiar with my comic book, it is a kids versus zombie adventure story. Just think Goonies meets Night of the Living Dead. So if you're a fan of Goonies, Monster Squad, Explorers, more recently Stranger Things, but with zombies, then you'll probably dig it. And I've got the complete story. This is sort of a mock-up of what the trade looks like. It's a pretty thick trade. So that's what you can expect to get. Or I've got the final single issue as well, if you've got everything up until that point as far as single issues. So let's see. And hopefully, people will start trickling in here soon. I know this is sort of an impromptu live stream, but I'm going to go ahead and get started. Take a drink and get started. Hold on. All right, let me get my glasses so I can see. All right, so as you can see, this is kind of what I'm doing here. If you did back this, they'll be shipped in these top loaders and everything, so they're protected. But original sketch cards, autographed. These went pretty fast because they were only like $5 for a sketch card. But yeah, and that was just an add-on that you could add to any tier. And we're doing pretty well. We're getting closer to our first stretch goal, which I'm anxious to hit. And throughout this live stream, when I'm not drawing, I'll probably show some of that stuff there. Let's see. Okay, so here we go. This one here, I don't know if you can see. Again, can you see that? It's so light, it's really hard to see. But it's a zombie trying to figure out a Rubik's Cube. All of these are sort of 80s themed. So I'm going to begin by just adding some ink. And then, hopefully by the time we get around to coloring, you know what? I wonder if I can, let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. Let's see which way. There. Hopefully that doesn't. Yeah, that's better. Okay. All right. So we got that. One time I had like a 3-camera setup, and I want to get back to that. Right now it's just a 2-camera setup. But I had like one of the cameras I was using was my iPhone, and I had this app, but the app, I don't know if it's like it just stopped working or what. I can't really get it to work. So I might either have to get another app or something, or find a different camera to use. But like I said, all of these are going to be sort of 80s themed zombies. So obviously the Rubik's Cube was big in the 80s. So that's what this is going to be like. So just a zombie. Obviously, when you turn into a zombie, I imagine a lot of your brain function ceases to exist. So I think that's going to make it all the more difficult for him, this guy, to kind of figure out the Rubik's Cube, but he seems curious about it at least. So, and I've got a particular way that I do zombies. I don't know if I don't know if it's totally unique, but I usually like to have like the way my zombies are. They obviously they decompose and everything, but they also, this isn't a major spoiler. It's revealed, or it's mentioned. They're kind of trying to figure out what makes these zombies tick throughout the book, and one of the things they realize is they have regenerative properties, so they can, once they're, you know, once you start turning into a zombie, you just start to decompose, and then, but what can happen is, and there's a couple reasons why I did that. One, just as far as storytelling, as far as making them a little more interesting. There's some things that come into play later that I won't get too deep into, but with when, as far as, because we're dealing with kids, all my protagonists and everything are kids. I didn't want them to. Okay, we got the people just started all chiming in the chat at once. I was like, is no one going to show up? But then now we got Blue Line Studio in the chat. We've got Dylan. We've got Gary. Hey everyone, how's it going? Oh, you know what? Oh, so Blue Line Studio says, can you draw a zombie with a flock of seagulls hairdo? That is a perfect. That's one thing I haven't done yet. If I don't know when you popped in here, but I mentioned I had pre-drawn these. I will probably do that. If I have enough time, I'll do that at the end. The only problem is, the reason why I'm pre-drawing these is because my pencils are so light you can't really see them on camera. But that is a great suggestion, and one I definitely want to do. So we'll see if we have time to do that. I might have to pull up reference for that one, because I kind of have an idea what flock of seagulls hair looks like, but I'm not. I probably need to relook at it. Yeah, I remember watching a documentary about that, and about the guy from the flock of seagulls and that particular hairstyle, and I guess it wasn't intentional. Like, if you watch the first video, I think the video for Iran, which was their first hit, I don't think he had that hairstyle. I could be wrong, but at least some of the early stuff, he didn't have that hairstyle. And then I think by the time the single Space Age Love Song came out, I think they may have had that or whatever. But the thing is, I remember it being something where the guy, I don't know the lead singer's name. I know there's two brothers in the band. I think the lead singer and I think the drummer, I think they're both brothers. But it was something where, like, he had to get on stage, or maybe it was the video, maybe it was the first video or whatever, and like they just, like, I guess they like pushed him out on stage. I can't remember the entire story, but it was quite by accident. It wasn't on purpose or something, like a look that he was going for, and it just like caught on. And then obviously from then on he had to. And the ironic thing is, now the guy is like totally bald. That haircut is long gone. He couldn't do that haircut if he tried, but it's kind of ironic, I guess. And then I forgot what I was talking. Oh, before I was talking about the zombies. So I didn't want, because my heroes are all kids, I didn't want them like running around with like shotguns and firearms and stuff like that. So those kind of weapons don't work on these zombies, because what happens is the idea is these zombies, that they don't really die. They can regenerate, but like if you shoot them, it might blow a hole through them, but they'll keep moving. But what happens is, what can stop them, at least temporarily, is like blunt force trauma. So that's why all my kids have like hockey sticks and croquet mallets and wooden hammers and all kinds of weird stuff like that. Because of that reason, because if you knock them out, then they're immobilized, and what happens is then they'll after that they deteriorate a little more, but then they start to regenerate, because it's like there's a function that kind of reboots, almost like a computer reboots their brain after it gets knocked out, and it resets itself, and then they start to regenerate. Now, the other thing that happens is, that's only temporary. Eventually, that the rebooting of the regenerative part takes less and less time, to the point where there's nothing you can do. Like, you knock them out and they just keep going, and so it's all that kind of thing is throughout the book, is revealed little by little, and then even in this current issue, I think you get a little more information about why that is, and everything. But okay, Blue Line Studio says your zombie trying to solve the Rubik's Cube is funny. I hope so. I hope there's some. I do. I mean, I always, with this book, the one thing I say is it's got horror, it's got humor, it's got action, it's got mystery, adventure. So I'm trying to hit all of those marks. Let's see if I hopefully get sort of what the perspective is. I don't know if I drew an actual, like, if the cube really lines up as far as, it's good enough, I think. And these are rough sketches. It's basically a $5 sketch. I mean, I wouldn't normally do these for $5. I normally would do a sketch for, I think I usually charge for a sketch card around $30, but I was really trying to get people in on the campaign like super quick, like right away, because it's super important that if you can like reach at least your initial goal pretty quickly, that's always a good sign. So, all right, so we got this guy. Oh, I don't like the autograph or sign with this brush pen because it's a little harder. I wonder if this works. Let me see. Let me get a blank one here. If not, I got to find a micron. No, I don't like that. All right, let me break out my micron here. I know I got something signed. Oh, maybe I don't have any in here. Where is my micron? Oh, here. So I'll sign this. Still feels weird putting 25 on something. Oh, I signed it on the front. I forgot. I got to sign it on the back too. I guess I got to go back and sign these on the front too. So yeah, this. Okay. Forgot about that. All right. And then we'll get back to, I'm gonna ink most of these first, and then I'm gonna break out the colors. So I definitely like the Flock of Seagulls. This I will eventually do that card because I love that idea. I might do that as a remark because I've got some remarks to do. I'll probably will do a video where I do a remark. Maybe I'll save that for that. But this is where a remark where I actually draw on the cover. I can't really draw on the cover yet because it's going to be on the trade, which I don't have printed yet. This is, like I said, this is just a mock-up. So but I'll probably get like a regular issue and then just show how I do it. Do a video where I show how I do the remarks, because there's a process to it. You've got to block it out in white, which can be difficult because you have to kind of imagine the shape of whatever you're drawing before you actually draw it. But it's kind of a cool little thing. That this tier that has the remarks is already, that one has sold out too. That was an early bird tier. So those aren't available anymore, but I still want to do that video just because it'd be fun to do. Oh yeah, the zombie with the Walkman. Like I said, yeah, they're all kind of 80s themes. So this one is going to be, I don't know if this isn't necessarily LL Cool J, but it's kind of like a rapper, and he's kind of got that Kangol style hat that LL Cool J is famous for wearing. So I'll go ahead and start inking this guy in. But yeah, the Kickstarter's going pretty good. Typically on the weekends, there's not a whole lot. I mean, most people are kind of busy doing their own thing, but we'll see. Hopefully, we are getting close to I really want to hit that first stretch goal. So we're getting getting closer to that. And when that stretch goal hits, everyone that backs at a physical level is going to get a 3D print with 3D glasses. I know you can't. I don't know if you can see. Can you see the blue and the red here? You can see a little bit here, maybe. It's hard to see on the screen, but it is 3D. It's actually pretty cool. I'm looking at it now. Unfortunately, I can't just hold that up. It doesn't work like that. You actually have to look through with your eyes. I can't do it on camera, but yeah, it's a pretty cool print. So I'm hoping to get by there, and not only that, but once we hit that goal, then I got to move this up. Once I hit that goal, I get to announce what the next stretch goal is, and it's something fun. I already designed it, so it's already ready to go, and it's another freebie that you'll get. I mean, it's free. I mean, obviously people are backing the project, but an additional thing that you're getting for free if we hit that stretch goal. So yeah, I was super big into hip hop in the early days of hip hop, late 80s, mid to late 80s, early 90s. So, and then my next project after I wrap Young and the Dead is going to be heavily influenced by hip hop. So I gotta get back and kind of brush up on my hip hop history and all of that stuff. So, and start going back and listen to there's a lot of, it's hard because you stream music and it's hard to find. I mean, they'll play like the popular stuff, but there's a lot of stuff that I listen to that I've got to kind of remember and figure out, what is it that I'm seeking out that I really want to listen to? Because even if you go super old school, like a playlist, there's a lot of stuff that just doesn't hit that playlist, that is somewhat forgotten but still fairly important as far as the history of hip hop and stuff. So I'll be diving back into that once I wrap up this project. You got to remember to keep moving this thing up so it's on camera. Okay, yeah, Blue Line says, watch your video on the 3D package design. I mean, that was the, what was that? I think that was for the last Young and the Dead thing I did. But yeah, that was another artist. I think that's the one that Federico Marchetti did. I think it was this. Hold on, I think I've got I'm offering. So one of the add-on tiers is this. I don't know if Gary's still in the chat, but this is Gary Hodges in the chat. This is his. See now we gotta go back here. Oh wow! I just noticed on my camera I can actually see without having to get up. I can see where that knob is there, so adjust that. So this is Gary Hodges' variant cover. This is the Virgin variant cover, so it doesn't have any of the. It's not. This is just a print. It's not the comic, but I'm offering it as a print without all the trade dress and everything. But this is Federica's drawing, and this is the one I did the 3D print of because I just thought it made a lot of sense to, with all the head flying out and all this stuff in the foreground and background. There's some really good, I guess perspective or foreground, middle ground, background, and it's great for prime for like a 3D print. So, and then this was done by Russ Leach again. So these are part of an add-on package that you can add on. So that's super cool. All right, let's get back to drawing here. Let's see. Draw some teeth that are kind of messed up there. It's weird. Like, I mean, I know I kind of said that I'm going to draw so many of these in like the 90 minutes that I'm going to live stream. I think we're doing good on time. I could go a little faster than I am now, but I don't know. I'm liking this pace, it's not, you know, I guess it's not really like I'm not trying to really do a sprint or anything like that. If I, however much I get done right within this time frame is fine. It's not, it's not like super like, oh, I gotta get all 10 of these done, which I think I could probably do. You know, the coloring stage goes pretty quickly too. I'm feeling kind of weird now that I signed that one on the front when before I was signing on the back. I don't know now. It seems like I got to do all of that, and I don't know if that makes sense. I don't have the Kangol like logo, so I don't know if this is gonna look like a kangaroo. It looks more like a weird dinosaur, but it doesn't. Maybe it's just an off-brand. Put some sort of Adidas stripes on here. And then, yeah, I think that's good. It's a little off center, but that's all right. I mean, normally you don't want everything totally centered, but on a card like this, it probably would make sense to do that. But all right, so we got two down. Oh, I can zoom in a little bit more here. Let's see. Oops, hit my mic. I just have to remember to bring these down because a lot of times I'll just move it where I'm drawing off the page. All right, let's see what the next one here. I think that, yeah, this is Madonna. It's kind of hard to tell because she's so zombified. But this one's going to be Madonna. Hopefully this comes across. She definitely had a particular look in the 80s. And then one of my character Kelly in the beginning, she's dressed up and she kind of dresses like Madonna. But then once the zombie apocalypse hits, I mean, when the zombie apocalypse hit in the book, it's like early morning, so most of the kids are just waking up. So you kind of find that the kids are just kind of wearing whatever. Like the main character is fully dressed because he was kind of like up late and kind of fell asleep just while in his clothes. But his little brother still has his pajamas on, and then, you know, my character Ox, she probably had like she's probably getting ready to go to an early like soccer game because she's got like a soccer uniform on. So it takes place early, so some of the kids are, you know, like I said, still in their pajamas and everything, and she like quickly gets dressed, but you know, she doesn't put all the all the effort into making herself look like Madonna. So but in the beginning you can kind of see that's kind of how she prefers to dress. All right, but you can find all about all of that in the just by backing the Kickstarter and getting the book. And I am really trying to get to the point where I can ship these books out like super early. You know, just it's like as soon as I get that Kickstarter funding and everything, I'm ready to go to press. The book's already done, so it's not one of these Kickstarters where you're going to have to wait months and months to get the book. I'm hoping within, at the very most, 2 months, that, you know, but hopefully even less, because I want to get the books out and everyone out into the world to all the Kickstarter backers and still have them so that I can sell it, because I'm sure I'll probably hopefully have the books by well, I think either earlier or mid-June is Phoenix Fan Fusion, which I'm going to be a guest at. So I want to have those books done, but I don't want to bring them to the convention unless the people who help fund this on Kickstarter have theirs, at least have them sent out. So that is the goal. But so I've got to, you know, that's why I'm doing these sketch cards. The only thing that, like I said, I can't do until I get those books back. I want to have everything ready. The only thing I can't do is the remarks. until I get the books back, and then I can do the remarks. So that's the only kind of sketching and things, because I did one, I did a sketch cover. I've got some other ones. I've got one that somebody had given me a suggestion. And if you did back the sketch cover level, let me see if I have any of those. So sketch cover is kind of similar to what I'm doing here, but it's on a cover of a comic. So right here you can kind of see this is the Mr. T sketch cover. Let me see if I can zoom out on that. Oop, that's zooming here. All right. So I know it's kind of, you get that little glare, but this is the Mr. T sketch cover. I'm going to draw another I got another Mr. T in here too, from a different angle. But so these, I had a request to do a particular sketch cover. So if you did back the sketch cover level, or if you're thinking about it, it says you kind of get what you get on the Kickstarter. But if you let me know, just send me an email at Scott@CircWorks or whatever. You can make a request, and I will do your request. The only stipulation that it's one character, that it's a zombie, preferably like 80s themed, but and that it's going to be kind of this green tone like that. So that's the only stipulation. But I don't advertise that because I don't want anything that's going to hold up the Kickstarter. Like once you start giving people too many different options. So if people are proactive and they're like, oh, I want this, then I will do that. I'll do a custom one. But I don't want to send out an email and like wait for people to get back to me and stuff like that, because that just holds it up for everyone. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, it is kind of hard to tell, because I mean, once you start zombifying things, I don't know if you can tell that this is Madonna. She's got kind of the bows and stuff in her hair. Maybe this will help when I get around to her wrist with she had a lot of like bangles and bracelets and things like that. Oh, I forgot to mention, I don't know. I'm expecting a delivery, which I'm excited about. But if that delivery gets here, my dogs might start going nuts. So you may start hearing dogs just going nuts. It was supposed to be here before the live stream, but I guess they didn't get here in time. So, but yeah, I'm doing if you're not aware, I do. Oh, well, here I can kind of show you. So one of the add-on tiers is this, the Wax Pack trading cards. So I do a lot of these Wax Pack trading cards. So a guy reached out to me. I assume I can mention this. A guy reached out to me who he's a book publisher, and he does a lot of art books, like really nice, coffee table style art books, and he also publishes the back catalog of Dave Sim Cerebus. I sent him a price, and he's like, how about if I pay half of that, but I send you about X amount of dollars in these art books, which was actually a pretty good deal. And some of them are like autographed and stuff like that. So I'm like, yeah, we could do that. So I don't know exactly what he's sending me, but I'm anxious to see. So, but it'll be a cool project because I'll get to work on some, Cerebus stuff. And also, I believe I'm going to get to work on Spawn and the Ninja Turtles, because there were Dave Sim did crossovers that he published, the like art book version, like deluxe versions of the Cerebus meets Spawn and Cerebus meets the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So I'm anxious to get to work on those characters kind of officially. I mean, I've probably drawn those characters before on my own, but this will be like an official license deal. So that's cool, but I'm anxious to see what these books are. So, what books he's sending me. So we will find out. Maybe on my Patreon, I'll do a like an unboxing. I did another unboxing for my giant Mazinger Z Mac It's either Great Mazinger or Mazinger Z. I get them confused, but I got a big giant Mac like the old Shogun Warrior style, and I filmed it, but I just haven't edited it, and I was going to upload that to my Patreon, but I haven't got around to that. So okay, so that'll be the Madonna character. I don't know. Again, it's really hard to tell that it's Madonna, but maybe she just needs more hair here. I don't know. I don't know if that helps, but all right. Oh, I forgot. See, I gotta sign these books. Sign these cards. So we'll do the signature on the front and then on the back. Okay. So we got 3 done. What are we looking at as far as? Oh, yeah, we got to pick up the pace a little bit, I think, if we are going to get them all done. Like it's so this one's going to be a zombie prince. This should be a little more recognizable, I think. This is the 80s. Both Madonna and Prince have kind of changed their looks over the decades, or so. But this is definitely the 80s version of Prince, kind of like what you would have seen with like Purple Rain. This is kind of when he had the kind of short, kind of Jerry curl look. All right. So if you're in the chat, feel free. If you guys have questions or anything, let me know. I'll be checking the chat for answering any questions. Yeah. I don't do a lot of Saturday live streams, so I don't know how many people are gonna tune into this. Maybe after the fact, people will check it out. But I'm kind of just experimenting. Like I think the last one I did was on a Friday, which I haven't done a lot of Friday, streams either. So I'm just kind of curious what, if there's I don't know if there's a good day to do streaming or if it's more of a night thing or what, but I got to get these cards done. So I figured I might as well turn on the camera and do it. I was just talking with my friend Joshua Kimmel, who I do the Artcasters with, and just kind of praising him for how good he is at drawing and talking, and I'm trying to do better at that myself. Yeah, this isn't too hard because I'm just inking, so there's not a whole lot of thought that goes into it. So it's a little easier, but it's still. But he's just really excellent at that. See, when I was drawing it, of course, I was using reference when I was drawing it, and now I don't have that reference in front of me, so I'm trying to remember. I think he had some sort of a weird, like a tie, almost not like a Colonel Sanders, but almost like a little scarf type tie here. Hopefully that. I think you'll be able to tell that that's Prince. We're gonna put. You can see a little. We'll see a little bit of his guitar up here. We'll go off here. Yeah, man, Prince, just an amazing talent, what he did, and the amount of things that he produced. I remember hearing a story that he was under contract from, I don't know, whatever his record company, Warner Brothers, or I can't remember which record company he's with, but he wanted to get out of his contract, and he told him, I think he told him that, and he said, they're like, oh no, you're going to be with us for a while. We've got you for like 5 more records. And so he just goes into he just goes into his vault and pulls out like 5 records worth of stuff and just drops them all at once. So, I mean, he just like, wow. All right. Where I think I've got a big giant thick, yeah. So these are, I'm talking a little bit about tools for a second. This is the Faber-Castell pit pen. And this is like a big giant marker, you know, which I highly recommend getting one of these, because if you want to fill in stuff, this is basically filled with permanent like India ink, as opposed to like a Sharpie where, you know, a Sharpie is it's not light fast, so it will, over time, the color will change to either it'll start to brown or like purplish blue or whatever, whereas this should last a lot longer because it's not filled with whatever, I don't know what kind of ink is in the Sharpie. I mean, Sharpies are permanent, yes, but they're not light fast, so I don't recommend filling in your black areas with Sharpies. So now, granted, if you're not interested in keeping the piece around, that's one of the main reasons to do traditional artwork, is so you have a piece that you can sell at the end. But I mean, if you're just looking to draw it and print it, I mean, I guess you could use a Sharpie, because if it's just photographed, then it'll be fine. But if you want that drawing to stay around, that Sharpie is just not going to hold up. I mean, you could it's kind of, and it's really not fair to whoever you're selling the artwork to, because while it'll look good when you sell it to them, 10, 15, 20 years down the road, their artwork just starts to it just doesn't hold up. Now, sometimes collectors like that. Sometimes collectors like, it is cool to kind of see, you look at a piece of original artwork and you can kind of figure out how it's drawn, or how it came to be. Like, you could see certain areas where maybe they messed up and they did a little paste up or something like that. So that's something a lot of collectors enjoy. But yeah, I don't know. I think. Okay, so there we go. There's a zombie prince. Let's see. So, can the zombie virus spread to animals? I don't. That's something I've never really tackled. I would say no, just because it's not something that was ever addressed or anything. So, oh wait, that's a good question. Wait, I take that back. I won't get too much into it, but I'll say yes. I totally forgot. Yes, it can. Yes, it can. Sorry. Sometimes I go right to one thing and then I'm not thinking of the big picture. And then, so yes, it can spread to animals. That's really big. Okay, you should do Freddie Mercury, Queen, and David Bowie. Those are both, I was considering doing those, and I looked at pictures. It's once you start, it's almost like the Madonna thing. Once you start adding the zombie, at least me, the way I draw things, because I'm not really like a portrait artist. Like right now I'm doing Mr. T, which, I mean, this is going to unmistakably be Mr. T. I mean, he's got such an unmistakable look, where Freddie Mercury, yeah, you could look at him and he's got a distinct look, and there's certain things like, there's the certain pose with him holding up the microphone and with that particular jacket and things like that. But, here I'm just drawing faces. I'm not sure if I'm the best person to capture Freddie Mercury and make him into a zombie and still make him look like Freddie Mercury. I mean, I could maybe give it a shot, but it's the same thing with Bowie. Well, Bowie, I think I could do if I do like the Ziggy Stardust, where he's got I don't know if maybe that's not Ziggy Stardust, but where he's got the lightning bolt painted on his face and stuff like that. And that hairdo's a little more specific than maybe a Freddie Mercury. I mean, Freddie Mercury's mustache, I guess, because then not a whole lot of people had that mustache, at least rock stars and stuff. So if you do the mustache, maybe you have them Again, I don't want to do a whole full body pick, but if he was holding up that mic like that, I think you might be able to tell it's Freddie Mercury. I will definitely consider those. Those are definitely good suggestions. I'd like to see both of those, but we'll see. But yeah, Mr. T's always fun to draw because I mean, like nobody has a look. That's why if you've watched it's kind of weird because if you watch the remake of the A-Team with I forgot, I think he was like an MMA fighter or maybe he was some sports guy or whatever. Whoever played the B.A. Baracus in that, he's kind of got the mohawk and stuff. But I mean, he didn't. I don't think he had like the chains and all that kind of stuff. I don't really remember, but you can't. It's kind of hard to cast anyone in that role other than Mr. T. It is essentially Mr. T. Just like Clubber Lang from. I mean, there's really not a whole lot of distinction between Mr. T, Clubber Lang, B.A. Baracus. It's all like Mr. T. It's so weird. The other thing that now that like tattoos are so popular nowadays, they're so so many people have tattoos. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I always find it weird, like when you're and sometimes they'll paint over them or whatever when they're in a role or whatever, but a lot of times they just like The Rock, like so every single character that The Rock plays has the exact same tattoos as The Rock. I mean, it's just kind of it seems weird to me, once you start getting tattoos that it seems, or maybe that's just, I guess you don't really change your face unless you do like prosthetics and stuff. So maybe it's kind of the same with tattoos. I just find it kind of weird that all the different characters, people that have, multiple tattoos, that all their characters also have the same tattoos. But I don't know. Does anyone else? Maybe I'm reading too much into it. But again, I just making that analogy because it's kind of the same with Mr. T. I mean, he has such a particular look, that it seems like every character he plays is pretty much Mr. T. I mean, there are certain character traits and things like that, like Mr. T with when he's B.A. Baracus, the whole idea that he's afraid to fly and stuff like that. That obviously that doesn't cross over into other characters he plays, but as far as aesthetics and looks, then yeah. Make his beard kind of disheveled and stuff like that because he's a zombie. It's not going to be as tight as you would expect. Probably same thing with his mohawk. I don't know how much of this you'll see, but I want to indicate that he's got the gold chains and stuff because that's a big part. He's got the ripped up shirt. That's good. I don't want to get too much into the detail. I keep forgetting, these are, basically $5 sketch cards, so I don't want to get too much into details. I still think they'll look pretty nice. But these are kind of just little rough sketches. Like you would see probably when you go and have, like, a lot of times you go see an artist and you'll purchase like an art book for them or something, and then they'll draw a sketch on the cover or whatever. And it's usually not it's usually a pretty quick sketch. That's kind of what these are. This I can. The big thick pen isn't the best thing for doing like more thin things like eyebrows and all that. Okay. Let's see. And we're going to sign it. Did I see? I keep forgetting to sign these things. I didn't sign the Prince one. I mean, I would go back and double check all this stuff. So it's not like I'm going to send them out to people without signing them, but in the moment, I tend to forget. Okay, how many is that? Are we? There's 5, so we're halfway through. Like I said, the coloring stage won't take as long, but yeah, we'll see if we can hit this. Okay, this one's gonna be E.T. as a zombie. This is a fun one. This is the first non-human one I've done. Where's my pin? Let's see if we got any more chats here. Oh my God! You know what? Gary says, ask if I've done zombified Kiss. I haven't. I think there's the only reason why is because I think the '80s Kiss era was more without sans makeup, and I think but still, I don't know. Kiss is pretty much, they've been around forever, and there was a part of the '80s where they still had their makeup on and stuff like that. So that. And I love Kiss, so I probably should do one. Man, you guys are throwing out some good suggestions, ones that I don't know why I hadn't thought of. All right, let's see. Jim's in the chat. Let's see. Jim says, hey there, Scott. Love when you do these live things. Thanks, Jim. I love when you do live stuff too. So, and if anyone's unaware, Jim Lujan is working on his new animated, it's a series called the Unicorns. And if you're familiar with he's kind of used these characters before with like John Henry Unicorn and sorry, Jim, I'm forgetting the title of the particular shorts and stuff that featured the unicorns, but I mean, all this stuff, Jim stuff's great. I still think so far. The Full Fungus, which is the full length animated movie that he just put out, I think that's still right now, that's my favorite. So I got a preview of the Unicorns. Yeah, it definitely looks great. And once he finishes all of these shorts, he's going to compile it into one long, kind of like I think was it Infinity Pool that you did that, Jim, or what was I'm trying to remember. You've done that a few times, I think, but yeah, definitely, pay attention to what Jim's doing. We'll probably have him on the Artcasters at some point. I have some other people that have reached out that we're looking forward to having on the Artcasters as well. So a lot of stuff coming up on that front. Wow, Zombie ET. I'm kind of digging this guy. I don't know what other like non-human type characters. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. I've got I was like, oh, the Fly. I love the Fly, but you can't. I mean, he kind of, when he starts deteriorating, he kind of looks like a zombie anyway. So I don't know how much I could add to that, but the Brundle Fly. It's Jeff Goldblum. If you haven't seen that movie, it's excellent. I haven't seen it in a while. I got to rewatch it. All right, let's see. Yeah, I mean, and then going back to the Kiss thing, I mean, I could draw them without their makeup, but that's, to me, it's like, and I did, even in the '80s, I like Kiss throughout that. I mean, in retrospect, the stuff they were doing in the '80s, as far as musically, in retrospect, it wasn't that. I mean, I still like it because it's Kiss, and it's just part of when you go see them live and stuff. Songs like "Lick It Up" or like "Heaven's on Fire." Or Tears Are Falling, or that stuff that they did in the '80s. It just, I don't know. It seems like it was meant to be a little more kind of poppy. I don't know, but like pop rock or whatever. But I mean, and they get a lot of flack for not having the best music, but still, I think their early stuff is solid. For their first album's probably my favorite, and subsequently there's other stuff that they did after that, but yeah, I can see some of the criticism, but there was definitely that first album, there's a lot of what I think is really good stuff on. And so, but that's all taste. I think for me, they're more like superhero. The whole, I think, from the marketing standpoint and from just they were pretty much superheroes when I was a kid before I even knew what their music was. He's got the glowing hand. Just making sure, constantly making sure that I've got this that I'm got this on camera, that I don't, because I tend to draw close to me and then you can't see it. Plus I've got that lower third graphic down there. By the way, lower third graphic, that URL there, Young and the Dead, that'll take you right to the Kickstarter. You can click on that, check it out. Yeah, the early bird stuff's gone, but there's still a lot of cool add-ons and things like that. So let's go ahead and sign this. And then sign the back. All right, we're moving on. Let's see. We've got 4 more before we can start coloring. And I'll, whether, I say I set a 90-minute goal, I think, which I think we can still hit, but if we don't, I'll probably finish these up. Like I said, the marker won't take too long. Once I get these done, you know what? I'm going to switch over real quick. I was going to run a trailer. If you guys don't mind, I'm going to run a trailer. It's like a 3-minute trailer for the book, because I need to switch out my battery on my overhead camera, else it's going to go dead and we're not going to see anything. So I'm going to pull this up. So, just hang out. I'm going to pull up my trailer for my book for the Kickstarter, and we come back. I'll have the battery switched out and everything.
1980s were a great time to be a kid. We had the freedom to take off on our bikes and no one cared where we went as long as we were back before the streetlights came on. We drank straight from the garden hose. We built forts and tree houses, ramps for our BMX and skateboards. 80s kids were fearless, and that was represented in the movies we watched. Movies where kids were the heroes. On the big screen, we could see children our age fighting a family of ruthless criminals aboard a resurrected pirate ship. We witnessed kids saving the world, battling dark forces in the form of classic monster archetypes. Some kids cobbled together makeshift rockets and traveled to outer space. Others would befriend an extraterrestrial and help him evade shadowy government agencies and find a way home. These are the stories I loved as a kid, and what inspired me to create my own kid-centric adventure comic book series, Young and the Dead, No Zombies Allowed. Young and the Dead follows the adventures of 11-year-old Sam Young and his little brother Tad as they wake up one morning to find most of the adults in their quiet suburban neighborhood have fallen victim to a horrific virus that has transformed them into flesh-eating zombies. Together, they team up with a ragtag group of neighborhood misfits, including Sam's wisecracking best friend Mitch, a live-action role-play aficionado named Lloyd, a tough-as-nails tomboy, Oksana, Ox for short, Sam's secret crush Stephanie, and her overprotective older brother Ricardo, aka Rocky. It's a race against time as these unlikely heroes fight to survive and unlock the clues to a cure that could potentially reverse the effects of the deadly zombie outbreak and save the world in the process. I'm Scott Serklin, and this is the Underground Lair, where for over a decade I've been working on this passion project, and now the story is finally complete. Young and the Dead has everything I love about comics: adventure, humor, horror, mystery, and of course, zombies. This comic is my love letter to the kid adventure films of the 1980s. Movies like The Goonies, The Monster Squad, Explorers, E.T., and more recently, Stranger Things. Young and the Dead captures all of the nostalgia of that era of storytelling, only with a lot more zombies. Just think Goonies meets Night of the Living Dead. Now, for the first time, you'll be able to get the complete story in trade paperback. Or if you've been collecting the single issues, The oversized final issue is also available. All of the artwork is complete and ready to go. I just need your help with the printing cost in order to make this project a reality. If you love 80s nostalgia, kid adventures, if you love zombies, then this is the project for you. Just check out the campaign. There are tons of really cool add-ons and extras, limited edition prints, vintage wax pack trading card, sketch covers, remarks, exciting stretch goals to be announced, free shipping to the US, and extras for international backers. It has been a long road, and I am so excited to share the epic conclusion of Young and the Dead with all of you. So thanks for your support over the years. Thanks for your future support, and let's wrap this thing.
Okay, we're back. Thanks for checking out that trailer. If you've been watching, you may have seen that a few times. So if you've already seen it, I apologize. I'm doing right now. I'm doing Max Headroom as a zombie. So if you're not familiar with Max Headroom, maybe you're younger or whatever, you're not familiar. So Max Headroom is this. He was kind of. I'm trying to remember the full history, but there's a character actor named. Is it Matt Fewer, or am I confusing? There's yeah, I think Matt Fewer. Anyway, he was cast as this. It's almost like a kind of weird digital like representation of a person, but he became. It was, I think it was like I don't know if it started off as sort of a sci-fi thing. Eventually, there was a show, like a TV, like a sci-fi television show. But what most people know about, he was kind of the spokesperson for New Coke, which is is when they tried to change the formula of Coca-Cola and did not go over well. But I think it was New Coke. I don't think it was Coke just in general. I think it was New Coke specifically. I could be wrong. But having said all that, I think it was a pretty successful campaign. So just a real weird, interesting thing, but very, very representative of the 80s, this whole Max Headroom thing. So, but he always had these little. This is the only one really where I'm doing any kind of line art in the background, just because this is so iconic of what he was. He always had this sort of weird thing, graphics in the background, like kind of vector graphics almost. And they look pretty much like I'm just drawing them here. All right, let's see. I'm gonna do all these, and I don't know if I gotta leave a little room to put my signature on here too. Do that right here. And let me fill in some black in here. That to give him the gotta give him the black jacket, suit jacket and tie. There we go. Sign the back, and then we got 3 more to do, and then we'll start coloring these things. And I think we're pretty much on track. There's another one. All right, next is Zombie RoboCop. Hopefully this one comes across. This one's kind of a weird one, because he's obscured quite a bit with all his metal pieces and armor and stuff. So, but hopefully I've kind of broken it apart. So almost like as he's deteriorating as a zombie, he's also his metal pieces are also coming apart, and so we get to see. We'll have some exposed brain and stuff in there, and so this one might be kind of fun. Let's see. But yeah, I'm anxious for people to back that these that got on early and back that these sketch goal tiers. I'm anxious for them to get their sketch cards. So this is going to be broken here. There we go. And we'll do our giant like zombie eye, where I always usually have the one eye bigger than the other. And in actuality, his eye might not be that large, but the idea for me is that it's like the skin's just drooping off, and his you know the more the eyeball is actually exposed. And I tend to draw more cartoony anyway, so. And I think technically the mask kind of covers his nose, but I'm going to cheat it a little bit and show some of his nose here. You know, the guy gets shot up and everything, and then gets replaced by all this metal, and then what do you know? Then he gets bit by something and becomes a zombie. So it just doesn't have very good luck there. Oh, I know what I'll do. Like maybe have some like wires or something coming out of here. I don't know if you can even see that in this kind of rough sketch, but so his kind of neck pieces are kind of falling apart. Maybe we'll show a little bit of his, I don't know what you call that. It's not spinal cord, but like whatever the thing that's attached to, I guess it is part of the spinal cord, but the part that attaches to the head. Again, it's pretty rough stuff, so it's a lot of it's kind of inferred what I'm drawing here, because it's so kind of rough. You know, I mean, I'm no Scotty Young, but I mean, if you look at the way Scotty Young draws, I mean, it's just so much like there's just so much going on. It's so kind of rough and raw, and just things going everywhere. But it works. It makes sense. So to a lesser extent, that's kind of what I'm going for here. I drew a little bit of his gun up here, just to, I don't even know if you'll be able to see much of that. Maybe. We'll see. He's got his kind of big shoulder pad piece here. Just do some damage. Things falling off here. Now we get to color some of this stuff in. I think that'll help it kind of pop out a little bit, because his under, like his little chin pieces and stuff like that, are all dark black. And his neck, I think the pieces on his neck are kind of black too. And then that should all be, well, you might have some stuff in there. Definitely the gun. Oh. My son's calling me off the text it back, tell him I'm on a live stream. All right, there we go. Let's another one. Okay. So next is going to be, let's see. Next is going to be Rambo. So I guess we get kind of an action movie theme going on here. We got RoboCop and then Rambo. I'm just going to take a quick second just to text my phone back. Oh. Okay. 1 second, guys. Apologize. All right, sorry about that. Okay, let's go. Let's get to Rambo, which I don't know. Yeah, how many of you guys are you guys Rambo fans? I love First Blood. I mean, that First Blood is like one of my favorite movies. But anything that came after that, I wasn't a huge fan of. I wasn't a fan of Rambo First Blood Part 2 or Rambo 3, or I think I kind of like the one where he came back like later when he was a little older. I mean, this is an action movie, but I don't know. I mean, First Blood to me was just so good, but it was kind of a sleeper type. I don't even know if it was a hit when it first came out. I think it was one of those that may have found a bigger audience on home video or whatever. But I mean, First Blood is a very different kind of movie from like Rambo First Blood Part 2. And I mean, the naming convention on those movies is just all over the place. Like, okay, so you've got First Blood, then you've got Rambo First Blood Part 2, but the following movie isn't called First Blood Part 3, it's called Rambo 3. I mean, I from a marketing standpoint, I kind of understand why they did what they did, just because Rambo's a more recognizable name, but it seems kind of weird. All right. Yeah, that classic kind of, he's got that headband and to our Sly Stallone zombie. I think at one point, because I've done similar type sketches for other Young and the Dead things. I think I did a Rocky one at one point. Like it was a Rocky 3 where he's kind of, there's a certain pose that he had for that, but I don't think I've ever done Rambo. But obviously, the same thing with some of these big, action stars of the 80s. I think my dog's outside my door wanting to come in. Sydney. No, guess not. Push your door. Push your door. No, maybe she don't want to come in. Anyway. All right, getting there. This one, I think this one might be fairly recognizable as Rambo. Some of them are, some of them seem like they work better than others, but let's see. Sometimes I draw these things so loose that I lose track of what's going on. But yeah, a lot of these kind of sketches are done. They're kind of completed more in the ink. And again, these are really rough. So, I forgot. I remember what. That's why I knew something was off. It's the part of the headband that's supposed to come down that I wasn't showing. And then I'm going to indicate part of this big giant gun he has, with probably some kind of rocket launcher or something here. I don't know. Again, I can't draw a lot of guns and stuff from memory, but this will be, it should give an indication of some kind of machine gun or whatever he's got there. All right. Let's start filling in. He needs a little more decomposing and stuff like that. And then I think once I add the black for the hair. I think that'll make him kind of pop out a little more. Let's see. Won't know until we try it. But yeah, I think we're doing good. I think we might hit our little goal here. We're about an hour and 10 in. We got about 20 minutes. I got one more to sketch and then color these, and the color stage should go fairly quickly. So we'll see. Oh, here, I'll say something else, and this is something, again, I'm only going to mention on the live stream. I won't mention this in the campaign itself. But if you did back early, if you're backing one of these tiers, sketch cover tiers, if one of these that I'm drawing you see and you want one in particular, and you back that, again, it's that tier is already closed out. It was an early bird tier, so it's not available anymore. But if you already did back it, and you want one of these in particular, just send me an email at Scott@Cirque, or you can message me through the Kickstarter thing. I think you can, if you have questions about the Kickstarter, you can also message, or just Scott@CirqueWorks.com and say, oh, I saw you draw that. I backed your sketch. I added a sketch card, and I saw the Rambo you did, and can I have that Rambo? Then I'll make sure to make a note of who did that. So, but otherwise, you're just going to get what you get. It's kind of random, which is kind of cool too. I mean, it's kind of like when you do like these blind box things and everything. It's kind of get what you get. But if you did back at a particular, if you did back at the sketch card level and you want one of these in particular, and I'll show them all together at the end in case you missed it, then just reach out to me and let me know, and I'll make sure I'll put aside the one you want, unless it's taken, unless more people do that and it's already taken. But then one way or another, I'll let you know. There we go, Rambo. Oh, let's sign this thing. Okay, one more to draw, and the last one is Hulk Hogan. So I wasn't a huge fan of wrestling, but I know a lot of people, especially, and it was huge in the 80s, so I know this is, so I'm doing the Hulkster, because I know he was, I mean, and I think he's, I mean, I thought about like Andre the Giant. I mean, I would be more of a Andre the Giant fan just because I'm a fan of like Princess Bride and stuff and Honeycombs. but I mean, I think in the 80s, Hulk Hogan was kind of the biggest thing in wrestling, and Andre the Giant would be a little hard to depict. I mean, it's not like, you know, Hulk Hogan, he's got this weird, I don't know what you call that mustache, that style of mustache he's got, but the mustache and the bandana, or the like long, like kind of balding head, long hair in the back, ripping off his shirt and stuff. I mean, it's pretty iconic. So although I didn't, let's see, this reference I had, you don't really see his long hair in the back, but I think I'll have to draw it in there a little bit, or maybe it's, you just don't see it from that angle. But yeah, I don't know. For whatever reason, I kind of missed the whole wrestling thing. I mean, a lot of my friends were super into it and stuff, but I don't know. I just never really got into it. I went to like a one wrestling match with some, what do you call those? What do they call them? WrestleManias or something? I know, probably like anyone that is a wrestling fan is probably getting real pissed off right now, so I probably should just hold my tongue. But no, I went to one, and I don't know. Wasn't the best experience. I remember because I was pretty young, and I was just to the point where I was starting to get facial hair, and then I remember some drunk guy in the back, in back of me, was just like, Peach Fuzz, Peach Fuzz. He kept calling me that, and this guy was just obnoxiously drunk and stuff. And I'm like, oh, geez, dude, just shut the fuck up. Oh, sorry. I usually cuss on these streams. Sorry. Anyway, I just like, dude, shut up. But yeah, so it was, yeah. I mean, there was definitely fun. I was with my friends, and it was definitely entertaining and stuff, but wasn't, yeah, I don't know. Wasn't my favorite experience with some drunk guy, calling me out and criticizing me. Plus, I was a kid, and some grown man, I guess that's typical with like sports stuff and like things like that, or like same thing with like the monster truck things. I was never huge into that, but I went to a few of them, and it was the same kind of thing. I don't know, but anyway, so we're almost done with this. And then I am going to go ahead and I think, because I just think that that kind of long hair in the back is, when I think of Hulk Hogan, I think of that, even though maybe I think there was, or maybe, you know what? Maybe he didn't have maybe his hair wasn't that long, and maybe that was later. Oh, well. Okay. No. Because now I'm remembering maybe he had like more of a shoulder length thing in the 80s, so I may be totally off. So maybe that's why. Maybe I just messed it up as far as getting my 80s, authenticity, correct. But wrestling fans in the chat, feel free to yell at me or just let me know if maybe he did have longer hair. I don't think he did, now that I think of it. Okay, there we go. That was the last one. We'll sign this, and then we're going to start coloring these. And we'll do them in reverse order, because the more recent ones probably still need a little time to dry, but the ones I did in the beginning, they should be totally fine to dry. Last time when I was doing sketch cover, I had to kind of wait. I did my trailer and waited for them to dry, but I'm just going to pull these out. Get back to, oh wait, that one should be back here somewhere. All right, we're gonna make sure I've got my marker. I gotta put these in order here. Let's see. Right, let me get where's that one that I did a sketch on? I can't find it. Let's see. All right, I just want to test out my markers here. This is the one that's really light, but I've got these Spectrum Noir kits. I try to, and now that I think about it, it might be, I was wondering why I couldn't get a hold of any refills, and I wonder if it's like it could be like a, because most of these markers are made in like China, so it could be like a tariff thing, where maybe it's just not worth it to do the refills right now. Anyway, let's see. So we got, that one's almost dead, but that is a GY4. I think I got another one of those. Yeah, that one's better. Okay, so we got that, and then a GY5. This is GY8. That gets a little darker. Let's see what this one is. It's even darker. I don't know if I'll go that dark. Okay. All right. We'll do those and these. I'm going to start off with, let's see, is this the lightest? Okay. We'll start off with this. Unfortunately, these ones don't have the brush pen, but that's all right. I'm just gonna put it. I usually, when I draw these, I go from light to dark. Do little random colors of the Rubik's Cube here. All right. Now we'll go one darker. And you can see without much, you know, I don't have to do much. It's just adding little colors here and there. It just, to me, it really starts to pop off the card once I do that. Okay. G5. Let's see, we got some other questions. Oh yeah, Dylan was just commenting on the older guy that was making fun of me. Let's see. I mean, it wasn't traumatizing. In retrospect, it's kind of a funny story, but I could see if it would have got out of hand, how it could have, you know, kind of might have scarred me, or you know. But it was, you know, it was just me and my friends, we joked about it before, and then my friends started saying that too, but they were kind of more making fun of the guy because they were impersonating the guy and everything. All right, let's see. There we go. One darker, just a little bit here. All right, now what we're going to do is add our little Kirby Crackle in the background, as you can kind of see from this punk rock one that I did. Is this the lightest one? I think it is. And just pop it out with a little bit of white here. Is there any other place? I mean, we're kind of up. I mean, usually I use this for like highlights, but since zombies are, you know, they don't have a whole lot of highlights on them because they're pretty dull and stuff. So there we go. And I'll bag and float those inside the sleeves that, you know, before we close everything out. But all right, let's see. All right, now to the Madonna one. Again, just starting with the lightest color, working light to dark. I got a couple different. I've got my Uhu markers, which I love, and then I had to get some just green markers, and I couldn't find just a green set with the Uhu, so I got these Spectrum Noir, which are pretty good markers, but they do make some with brush tips, but they didn't have any of the green, so I'm just using the chisel tip for this. Okay. Then we go on the next color up. So switching in and just making sure, you know, when you are doing markers, make sure that you know what kind of marker you're using, because these are alcohol based, so they're going to all be compatible as long as I'm using, doesn't matter the brand, as long as I'm using other alcohol base. But if you use like I don't know what are the other kind of water, or there's another one called xylene that works pretty well with the ad markers. I think are xylene, and they work well with with alcohol as well. And those are kind of nice markers. And I think they have a unique tip where it's almost like a chisel. It's a chisel tip combined with it's a soft like tip. Usually chisel tips are kind of hard, but it's a soft like chisel tip with a point at the end, so you could almost use it like a brush pen, and those are really nice. So it's almost all you really need is like the one tip, and you just kind of move it around the way where you want it. But I think Ohuhu came out with some new markers and one that kind of had a tip like that. So I might have to try that out. Okay, she's got kind of her hair, and then she has like a little, like, I don't know, a bow, a big giant bow. We'll see. We'll see if that. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure if that comes across as Madonna, but it could just be an '80s girl, you know. I think it's good enough. I'll go ahead and get some Kirby Crackle back there. And if you're not familiar with Kirby Crackle, what I mean when I say Kirby Crackle, so you probably, if you're a comic fan, you probably know Jack Kirby. He was famous for, he drew a lot of like cosmic stuff. I mean, he drew a lot of everything from romance comics to war comics to, I mean, just did it all. But most known for superhero stuff. But he would do a lot of cosmic stuff, and he would do, when he did space and things, he'd draw this kind of, just using a lot of like dots and things to indicate like the cosmos and everything. And that kind of became known as like Kirby Crackle or Kirby dots. And, you know, it's been borrowed by pretty much tons of artists since, myself included. It's just a really cool kind of like shorthand, and I don't know, looks cool. All right, so we got another one there. Let's see. Now we're on to our LL Cool J, or I get, it's not really LL Cool J. It's just a zombie rapper MC. All right, let's see. All right. But as you can see, you know, well, like I mentioned earlier, a package must have arrived. It's gonna happen. They're a little late. They're about an hour and a half late for what they said. Anyway, so I'm anxious to check that out afterwards. And like I said, maybe I'll unbox that on a video. This package that I'm getting with some cool art books and things. Not all comic. Some of it's comic art, but some of it's like photography and you know, music based. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he sent me. He told me a couple things he was going to send that I'm pretty excited about, but but we're getting closer. We're almost at our 90 minutes, so we're going to go a little over, but that's all right, because I need to finish these, so why not finish them live, you know? But that's a nice kind of, you know, load off of this whole Kickstarter campaign, because I was like, okay, I'm going to do this crazy thing and offer sketch cards for $5, and I knew they'd go pretty fast, and then what happened was I actually kind of made a mistake, because everywhere on when I mentioned it, I said it's limited to 10, but when I set it up on the Kickstarter, I must have put an extra 0, so it said 100, and I'm like, oh no, and I tried to you know, turn it off, and it wouldn't let me. So I'm like, oh no, am I gonna have to draw 100 of these things? But I was able to kind of cancel the tier, but it had already hit like 12, so a couple extra people got in there and got sketch cards. So, but yeah, so let's see. Oh, that's not what I want. Just a little bit of, you know, just a little background to add something to it. And I'll be doing a lot of like after. It's funny because like after so the campaign wraps up, and then I think the campaign wraps up on I think May 1st. I think, and then I think maybe 2 or 3 days later is Free Comic Book Day, and I'm going to be doing store signing and I'll be doing a lot more sketches there too. So I'm gonna get my practice in for that. All right, there you go. There's the. Can you guys see that? Let me move in. Oh shoot! Are you guys? It says my battery's dead. Hold on. Can you see that? All right, I'm gonna switch over real quick. I've got another battery. Bear with me. It's weird because it said it was dead, but it looked like it was still. I don't think I lost anything. Let me know if my screen went black or anything. Yeah, because that's why I used to only have to switch 2 batteries because I usually go about 90 minutes. But since I'm going a little over, I guess that's the extent. It seems like. Hold on, give me a second here. It's really I have to use tweezers to get these batteries in, because they don't make it easy on me. Okay, let me reboot this thing. Okay. Let's see if we're back in business yet. Not yet. Hold on. Sometimes it takes a minute. Let's try again. Yeah, there we go. Okay. All right. So hopefully. Oh, it didn't go black. Okay, good. Yeah, it was weird because it said the battery was dead, but it looked like it was still showing. So, yeah, this thing doesn't have like an external output, and I've looked to see I don't know if there's like longer batteries, but this is kind of the best camera I have. But let me move in a little bit so you guys can see a little better. I know I was kind of zoomed out before. All right, let's go. We're going to do Mr. T now. We'll just kind of blow through these, go a little over time. So even though my thing said how many sketch cards, oh, well, so I let's see. Since my thing said how many sketch cards can I do in 90 minutes? So basically 10 inked and 3 colored, and they're already penciled. So. But we're going to go a little over. So we're not quite we're going to go over that 90 minutes. I guess I don't have to wait. I always wait till the end to put the crackle in, but since I've got this particular marker out right now, I might as well just do it now. Save a little time. All right, and let's see. Let's try this. All right, we'll go through and kind of pop it out a little bit. There's your Mr. T zombie. Now on to Prince. Get thirsty, you gotta get a drink here. All right. I think I drew his fingers upside down. That's a pretty rough sketch, so I don't think that's how his fingers would look like if they're well, I don't know, if they're curling over. I don't know, it's hard to, maybe. We'll see. I'm not, this is just a rough sketch, so I definitely wouldn't want to do it like that in a comic. I'd take a little more time with that, but I don't know if this is, I've got these two markers. I don't know which one's darker. No, yeah. This is the lighter one, I think. Okay. If you hadn't yet figured out, I'm kind of partial to green, that color green with my lab coat and everything. I don't know. I mean, and I've always kind of with Young and the Dead, I've always kind of went with that. Anytime I do like a monochrome style drawing or sketch or something, I use those colors. But who knows? You know, with my next comic, maybe I've got to pick a different color. You know, if I'm doing these, maybe it's just gray. You know, but the green does seem to do good. It kind of, I don't know. I like how it works as far as like a monotone thing here. And then one more, we'll go, what's the darker one? I think it's this one here. The jacket, which probably would be purple, I'm guessing, if it was in color, but all right, there's Prince. Now E.T., this should be a fun one. I think this one will go fairly quick. Let's see. You know, when you are, I mean, and I'm going pretty fast. I mean, there's, you know, if I was for a different type of illustration, I might slow it down a little bit. But you really start with like your highlights for something like this. I'm just leaving white areas open, like the top of his head, because that's almost like a color in and of itself. You know, I start with the light, but I also leave a little white areas exposed, like here on the top of a head. Oh, I almost forgot his hand. And then, oh yeah, then let me do my crackle over here. And then, of course, he's got the light from his finger, so I'm leaving that open. And then, you know, doing the next thing. So the parts in his face that are going to be either recessed or like his brow, because your brow is kind of, it kind of extends outward, so that's going to cast a shadow of anything under it. So it's important when you're coloring stuff, just think what in 3D space, what's if the light's hitting from below, what's going to be kind of in shadow, and that's going to be your darker colors. And of course, you know, inside of the nostril or in here, in the mouth, those are always going to be darker. Under the chin here. The little dots here, just one more. I still got a few more to go, but we're getting there. Like I said, it'll just be nice to be able to, like, I've got a list of things that I'm gradually checking off, just making sure everything's ready, as the Kickstarter's going. So this is a big part of it, is getting all these done. The next one is the sketch covers, which I may do maybe I'll reach out to the person. There's a person that requested a particular sketch cover. Maybe I'll reach out to them and see if they want me to do that live or not. I may do that, and then I'll probably do another video. Probably do one where I do the remarks. Not a lot of room in this one for the background color. He pretty much taken most of it out, but there we go. Okay. It indicates what's what on here as far as which one's the brush, but I don't ever pay attention. I just open it. It's like, oh, let's see what I get. Am I going to get the brush? Am I going to get the chisel tip? But if I just took an extra second just to look at it, then something I probably should be doing. I did it again. That time I was right. It's a 50-50 gamble you get. So this time I'm gonna look. So yeah, see, I would have done the wrong one, but I paid attention. All right. You got Rambo. Now Max Headroom. We got 3 more to color in. We got Max Headroom here. I don't know which one of these is my favorite. This one, I mean, this one's kind of fun. I kind of like this guy. And then for this one, I'm going to do things a little different. I'm not going to do the crackle because we've got this design element here. And these would normally be different colors, so you do those two, and the other ones I'll do a little darker color, which I'll just do that right now. Good to go. Sorry, it's just sometimes I get lost in my drawing and I forget. Oh, there's people watching. I should keep talking, so there's something going on. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I don't know if I should. Maybe I'll pop this out just to. I wasn't sure if I should pop this one out because it's got a little different background, but I think it might help. All right. Let me fill in some of these teeth because I colored them in green, but it should be white. All right, there we go. There's, oh, sorry, I've got it too low there where you can't see it. All right, here we go. 2 more to go. Let's go with RoboCop. Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen RoboCop. I'm gonna have to go back and I when I was a kid, man, I loved that movie. I just watched it over again. And I think that's Paul Verhoeven, right? Isn't it? He's always got like definitely some commentary, and I didn't pick up on all that stuff when I was a kid. Same thing with like Starship Troopers, but um, yeah, I just thought it was a cool action movie and really violent and stuff. But I didn't realize it was a kind of a commentary on all of that. Okay. Oh, we're getting there. We're getting there. Yeah, this needs something that I didn't. Hold on. Let me put the last color on before I do this. What I'm going to do is I just see something I should have done. It's just a minor thing, but I want to actually add some cracks in the thing here like this. I think it needs some cracks. There we go. Some of these things you wonder if they even really make a difference. I think he needs his eye's a little too white. There. All right. Oh, thanks. Yeah, the background. I like it because it's kind of like a Dylan was commenting on the background music. So hopefully, and let me know if the levels. I always play. I want it to just barely be able to barely hear it, but not too much. But it's kind of like a. I like it. It's just a very 80s synth, almost like you would hear in Stranger Things or John Carpenter or something like that. So, but hopefully it's not too loud. I don't want. I just want it to kind of play in the background and kind of be atmospheric. All right. But let me know. Let me know if the volume levels on that are good. Yeah, those are all. I mean, YouTube offers like a lot of cool like free music and stuff that you can use on their platform. The only thing I don't know, and I hope it's not an issue, but like when I make YouTube content, I'll use the YouTube library. But then I'll also share those out on other social media. So, I mean, I'm hoping that's all right because that would suck if I have to re-edit something to post on a different social media, you know. But I don't know. I've done it before and it hasn't seemed to be a problem, but you never know. I mean, there probably is some stipulation that it's supposed to be for YouTube, but hopefully, you know, hopefully it's not a big deal if you post like something like that over to your Instagram or something too, which, I mean, I don't post a lot on, I'm not really too active on Instagram, but I did post a, you know, a little cool little trailer to, I think I posted on my YouTube shorts too. So if you look at my YouTube shorts, there's like a kind of really cool like vertical trailer for Young and the Dead, which I haven't mentioned it in a while. Just go to youngandthedead.com and that'll take you right to the Kickstarter, which is currently live. All kinds of cool stuff. Before I close out, I'll show you some of the cool stuff. which is it's almost time. We're getting there. Got a couple more colors we gotta add, which is good because I gotta use the rest of them. So, oops, bumped my mic. This shirt would be red, but it's all torn off. Just to, I only got one. That color. And then this hat, there's bandana's red too, so. This is, I think his mouth's just torn away right there, so. All right. I think we're about to call it quits as far as the drawings. And then I gotta get something to eat too. I forgot about that. See that? I think there's some other ones that went off out of the border, so get to kind of fill that in there. Same thing with the teeth here. There we go. Yeah, pretty cool. All right. Let's see. So we've got. Let's go ahead and I got some of these sleeves, these penny sleeves. So I was just putting them directly into the top loader here, but my comic store owner said not to do that. He said that it could damage the card. So he said to put it in the sleeves, for the penny sleeves first, and then the top loaders. And I got a whole bunch of these. Let's see. There we go. The only bad thing about this is that on camera, I don't hate that glossy glare that you get on the camera. Is that two? Is there two there? That's just thick, I guess. No, yeah, because I must have used printed them on like a Bristol, like a thick Bristol. Which is good. I mean, you don't. These things are hard to open. You got Max. Oh, let me zoom out. So you guys can see. I'm gonna move some of the markers out of the way. We'll just kind of display these out here while we wrap them up. They're the ones I already did. Here. Okay. All right. We got Rambo here. Somebody that's a huge card collector probably has a trick to doing these super quick. We got our ET. Yeah, I had to open them and I lost it. ET. Dylan says, it seems like as artists we forget to eat all the time. Yeah. So, I guess that could be a good thing if you're trying to lose weight, but I may forget to eat at a certain time, but I can't go without eating them. Like I'm starving. I feel like I'm starving right now. So luckily I grilled some hamburgers yesterday. I've got some, I can just throw them in the microwave. And I'm anxious to see. I don't know if anyone's on my Patreon. I shouldn't say this because I don't know for a fact that I'll probably film it, and whether I get a chance to edit it and put it on my Patreon, which I might, because I don't know if I'll have a patron video. I'll still have my every month I give away free files and stuff. But since I'm so busy with the Kickstarter and I've been doing so many live streams, I probably won't have a dedicated YouTube video. It's over. So maybe I will do that. So there's something. But that unboxing I'll definitely film it, whether I get a chance to edit it and do all that. I mean, there's not a whole lot of editing for something like that, so I guess it shouldn't be an issue. But, and I don't know how much interest there is. Like, I have no idea what's in this package other than some cool art books, and some of them are autographed. But we'll see. Okay. So in total, when I'm done with these, there should be 12 cards. With 12 backers. Oh, is that the... Oh, really? Only got one left. Okay, cool. Yeah, that makes sense. 5, 5, and then 12. All right. All right. Let's see. All right. There you go. Can you... I know this RoboCop one's a little... Let me see if I can move this down away from the light. Does that work? No, this is... No, that one's shut. That was bright. I don't know where I could set all these so you could see them all. There's a little light there. All right, so there are 12 sketch cards. Like I said, if you backed at the sketch card level, it's not available anymore. They're all sold out. But if you happen to add that as an add-on to your tier, and you want one in particular, just message me either through the Kickstarter campaign or at scott@circlix.com. Let me know which one you want, who you are. You gotta leave me your name, because sometimes when people have like sometimes when people are on Kickstarters, they have like handles or weird names, and I don't know who you are. So you gotta let me know what your real name is if your real name isn't listed on Kickstarter. Although I guess I'll know. Well, maybe that doesn't matter, because whatever name you're backing under Kickstarter is what will probably show up. So, but anyway, it's not going to hurt to let me know who you are, and then I can put one in particular aside, assuming that somebody else hasn't already claimed it. So yeah. So those are the sketch cards. Real quick before I log out, there is still a tier with a sketch cover. Now you can't get the sketch card, but if you want a full sketch cover, there's still some available in that particular tier. So that's something you can check out. Again, this is pretty much what, that's about like that thick. This is going to be the complete story. That's pretty much what's going on Kickstarter. I'll show you some extras. Again, I showed this earlier. Here's a print pack featuring some friends of mine who did some awesome prints. This is the version print pack. I also have, as an add-on, the large postcard pack featuring more friends of mine, and this one's me. So those are some add-ons. We are getting close to reaching our first stretch goal, which is going to get this 3D print, and then I'm excited to announce what the next stretch goal is. So if you guys want to back, you'll get me closer to that. Everyone that's backing at a physical tier is going to get the Zombie Apocalypse. It's a survival guide. So I'm looking to print this on like a real glossy paper so that you can use like a dry erase and assuming that works, hopefully. Otherwise, maybe it's a one-time use. But I think I can get a glossy enough paper that I can get right on it with the dry erase marker and reuse it. So that's going to be available to everyone who's backing at the at any physical level. There are opportunities. This is the final issue, the new issue. So if you've been collecting all the single issues and you just want that last one, you can get that. Or if you collected all the single issues, you want the last issue plus the trade. There are tiers for that. But here, as add-ons, you can also get issue 1, issue 2, issue 3, issue 4, issue 5, issue 6. Those are all also available. There's another tier. Add-on where you can get these cool wax pack trading cards featuring Young and the Dead. It's got bubblegum, 9 cards, 1 sticker. So that's available. So those are just some of the things that are available. You just go to Kickstarter, youngandthedead.com. It'll take you right there. Thanks to everyone in the chat. Thanks for hanging out with me on a Saturday morning, or if you're watching this after the fact. Hope you're enjoying the stream, or recorded. But yeah, thanks. I've got a lot to do today, but I'm glad. I'm just happy that I got these sketch cards done, because I've got a lot still. Tons. If you ever run a Kickstarter, there's tons and tons of stuff to do. So I got to move on. Still got some sketch covers to do, but I might do some of those live some other time. I'll do a remark live some other time. But that's it for today. I'm going to go lead us out. I mean, if you already saw it, if you've been watching the whole thing, but if you're just catching it at the last minute, you want to check that trailer out. I'm gonna head out with the trailer. Thanks to everyone again in the chat, and then we're gonna end with the trailer for Young and the Dead on Kickstarter. Go to youngandthedead.com or click the link in the description of this video.
1980s were a great time to be a kid. We had the freedom to take off on our bikes, and no one cared where we went as long as we were back before the streetlights came on. We drank straight from the garden hose. We built forts and tree houses, ramps for our BMX and skateboards. 80s kids were fearless, and that was represented in the movies we watched. Movies where kids were the heroes. On the big screen, we could see children our age fighting a family of ruthless criminals aboard a resurrected pirate ship. We witnessed kids saving the world, battling dark forces in the form of classic monster archetypes. Some kids cobbled together makeshift rockets and traveled to outer space. Others would befriend an extraterrestrial and help him evade shadowy government agencies and find a way home. These are the stories I loved as a kid, and what inspired me to create my own kid-centric adventure comic book series, Young and the Dead, No Zombies Allowed. Young and the Dead follows the adventures of 11-year-old Sam Young and his little brother Tad as they wake up one morning to find most of the adults in their quiet suburban neighborhood have fallen victim to a horrific virus that has transformed them into flesh-eating zombies. Together, they team up with a ragtag group of neighborhood misfits, including Sam's wisecracking best friend Mitch, a live-action role-play aficionado named Lloyd, a tough-as-nails tomboy, Oksana, Ox for short, Sam's secret crush Stephanie, and her overprotective older brother Ricardo, aka Rocky. It's a race against time as these unlikely heroes fight to survive and unlock the clues to a cure that could potentially reverse the effects of the deadly zombie outbreak and save the world in the process. I'm Scott Serklin, and this is the Underground Lair, where for over a decade I've been working on this passion project, and now the story is finally complete. Young and the Dead has everything I love about comics: adventure, humor, horror, mystery, and of course, zombies. This comic is my love letter to the kid adventure films of the 1980s. Movies like The Goonies, The Monster Squad, Explorers, E.T., and more recently, Stranger Things. Young and the Dead captures all of the nostalgia of that era of storytelling, only with a lot more zombies. Just think Goonies meets Night of the Living Dead. Now, for the first time, you'll be able to get the complete story in trade paperback. Or if you've been collecting the single issues, the oversized final issue is also available. All of the artwork is complete and ready to go. I just need your help with the printing cost in order to make this project a reality. If you love 80s nostalgia, kid adventures, if you love zombies, then this is the project for you. Just check out the campaign. There are tons of really cool add-ons and extras, limited edition prints, vintage wax pack trading card, sketch covers, remarks, exciting stretch goals to be announced, free shipping to the US, and extras for international backers. It has been a long road, and I am so excited to share the epic conclusion of Young and the Dead with all of you. So thanks for your support over the years. Thanks for your future support, and let's wrap this thing.